Girls, what was the most obvious hint you dropped and the guy just didn't get it? Welcome back, folks. Today, we will look at a very fun Reddit thread which a lot of us can relate to. Haven't you had situations where you were very much into the guy or girl and they just didn't get the hint? These hilarious Reddit shares are sure to crack you up when you realize there are a whole group of extremely innocent guy species who just wouldn't get the most obvious hint. And while the question seemed to be aimed at girls, a lot of these stories are shared by guys who just regretfully realized 5 years later how oblivious they were to the signs. Let's begin with a cute share. Literally said, "I want to be yours." And the dude keeps smiling and goes on about random space facts. That one hurt a bit. Now that's what being in love with a nerd feels like. I am a guy, and I can share my density as a guy that missed the hints. I went to a store where there was a girl I liked in college. We used to small talk while I browsed and never bought anything, being a poor college student. This time I came into the store and she and I chatted for a bit while I shopped. She complained, "I'm gonna be home alone tonight. My family is out of town." I replied, "Oh, that's too bad." She says, "Well, I'm off at 5 today." It was 4 at the time. "What are you up to tonight?" "I'm up for anything." "Oh, nothing, just sitting at home and watching a movie." My brain must have completely self-destructed because the conversation ended there. I never saw her again after that. She either quit or was avoiding me. I must have been in a daze from school to miss that cue. When the brain just decided to work against you when you needed it most. I had a girl invite me around her house once to show me her posters. They were all of Harley Davidson motorbikes, and she said she's never ridden a Harley before. Awkward silence, and after a few short bits of small talk, I decided to be on my way. 2 years later, I'm sitting on the bus and I realized what she meant. Harley. Ridden on Harley. My name is Harley. Ouch. We all feel bad for him, don't we? When my boyfriend and I had just started dating, we were laying down watching a movie. But it was this small bed and he was being respectful and giving me space. I kept wiggling backwards so I could get closer to him and he kept inching backwards too, since I thought he was just trying to get comfortable and he was in the way. He ended up sitting in a chair next to the bed. 3 years later, we are still together, and I still think it's pretty funny. He told me that when he was in the chair, he purposely left his hand next to me in case I wanted to hold it, but I guess I missed that sign too. He didn't get out of the bed because I was uncomfortable. He truly thought he was taking up too much space and didn't realize I was trying to cuddle. I threw my panties at him and he kept explaining God of War lore. Moving on to the next one. After chatting for hours on top of a mountain from sunset until like 2 a.m., sharing a blanket, me leaning my head on his shoulder, telling him he's attractive and etc., he turns to me and says, "How do you tell if a girl is into you?" Some guys can be a bit slow sometimes. I asked a guy on a festival to come take a shower with me. He didn't get it. He just repeated that there was only one free shower, and I said, "Well, they are big, I'm sure it's fine." And he just looked confused and told me I could go first. We became close friends since, and that happened almost 2 years ago. And this summer I spoke to him about it, and he really had no idea. He did the biggest facepalm I've ever seen. Well, the next story is a better facepalm moment. I'm the guy in the situation, but I couldn't help not sharing this story. In college, this girl I was really into asked if I wanted to hang out at my dorm and drink and watch Netflix. She came over and we were watching and drinking on the couch in the living room per my suggestion. Things are going good, and about an hour into it she says, "Oh, let me see your room." So we go to my room. She takes her shoes and socks off and immediately sprawls herself out on my bed and says, "Oh my God, your bed is so comfortable." I responded with, "We live in the same building. It's the same bed as yours." She left about 10 minutes later. We were discussing costumes and I sent a picture of me in a bunny suit and said I'd need help out of it. His response was telling me that he hoped my roommate was home or that would suck. I had to tell him I was implying I'd like him to take them off me, and it took him a minute to catch up. I was once modeling clothes I planned to take on vacation for my boyfriend. After showing off a couple of outfits, I told him to close his eyes and changed into lingerie. He opened his eyes and I asked him what he thought. His jaw dropped and he said, "You can't wear that outside." I put my clothes back on. Seems like most men miss any signs that have anything to do with clothes. A girl came to my house once and spent the night. Around the time for bed, she told me she doesn't sleep with a top on or panties. I told her that's okay, I'll sleep on the couch so she can be comfy. She called me from downstairs later that night and told me she couldn't sleep and she was cold. I figured, well, obviously, you're naked. So I gave her another blanket and went back downstairs. Oh my gosh. Like Chandler would say, could anyone be more dumb? A guy I'm currently seeing invited me camping earlier this month. We were cuddling and I noted how nice the showers are in the bathroom at the provincial park. I said they're really warm and lots of space for 2 people, trying to hint for him to join me for sexy time. This man, without missing a beat, says, actually, you could fit like 10 people in those showers. We laughed about it really hard the next weekend and he said, I knew what you were getting at, but my brain just wanted to answer it logically. Let's read the next share. When I was like 15 or 16, this girl from school I had a huge crush on kept inviting me to her house when she was alone, wearing the smallest tops and asking for back massages. I never got the hint. Years later, when I started going out with my now fiance, that girl's sister tells my girlfriend, hey, my sister had such a crush on him back in school. I was not a bright teenager. I met up with a guy friend at his place for drinks, pizza, and Netflix. We had been flirting back and forth for months, so I was under the impression it was obvious we were going to bang. After a few drinks, he commented on how much he liked my dress. It was lace, pretty low cut, and just above the knee. Fairly obvious flirty dress. I said, I bet it would look a lot better on your bedroom floor. Want to go see? He just looked at me confused and asked, if I wasn't comfy, why did I choose to wear it? It's not like we're going anywhere. He then went to his room and returned with some sweats and a sleep shirt that I could change into so I wouldn't have to head home yet. I thought that was a real obvious come on, so I took it as he wasn't actually interested. I did genuinely like the guy, so we stayed friends. Years later, we were hanging out in a group, and he asked why I had never given him a shot as a boyfriend. I just described the night to him and raised my eyebrows. He facepalmed so hard I thought he was going to bruise himself. I'm a guy, but I have a story. A couple of years ago, a cute girl at a cash register at a local supermarket, where I was a regular customer at every night, said to me in a clearly flirty way with a big smile, "Oh, I thought you're not coming today. I'm so happy to see you." Her face was shining when she said this, but the dumbass I didn't realize this, and my response was, "But why?" As I said this, her face went red, and I could hear the glass shatter sound echoing in her. I have other stories too, but usually I get the hints 5 years after they happened. These stories have just made us all laugh out loud, didn't it? We have more hilarious stories just like these. Subscribe to our channel and keep watching our videos.